Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How's it going?
Pretty good. I'm sitting at my desk looking out my window watching what appears to be sleet coming down outside.
Oh.
Winter is upon us.
It is. I can tell it's upon us because I just booked a ski trip, actually.
Yeah. Well, then I would say it is firmly upon us.
I'm excited to do a bunch of skiing this season as like a COVID-safe kind of activity. I and some other people have gotten icon passes to kind of get you access to a bunch of mountains in the area. And we just booked a house for 3 weeks, actually, up in Vermont.
Oh, nice. Wow. Is there already snow up there? Like, is this trip happening soon?
No, this is for February.
Oh, okay. I mean,
yeah, not that there won't be trips before then, but this will be the big one. But I think this is going to probably be my skiingest season ever.
Yeah,
which I'm excited about. I've started doing some prehab exercises so as not to destroy myself.
Okay, that's good. Can't go too hard too fast, man.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm getting older every year, but also we've invested a lot of in being able to ski a bunch this season, so it'd be extra unfortunate to get injured early on.
Yes, it would. Yep.
Yeah. So trying to bulletproof these knees.
Yeah, I feel like that's what this season calls for, especially with COVID happening, like being extra proactive about planning deliberately these kind of activities and stuff, because otherwise it'd be hard to stay sane.
Totally. Yep. So I got an email this morning from someone saying oh, we like the app, but we just really wish it had webcam support. It's but it does. It do.
It do.
It do.
UX design, man, is continues to mystify. I mean, it's the more of it I do, the more I appreciate how much of a dark art it is to get things put in the right way so that they're discoverable and so that people don't have to ask support about it. Yeah, it's tricky.
It's tricky. And I don't want to add one of those annoying tooltippy kind of onboarding things. I think those are horrible. So the way I'm starting to think about this is kind of defense in depth, the way you're supposed to think about security. Where it's you don't do one thing for security, you do a whole bunch of things, and then hopefully the combination works. And so onboarding emails, maybe a little bit of guided onboarding in the app that's not annoying, good docs, demo videos, personal touch. Let's just do all the things, I think, because it seems like that's kind of what's required.
Yeah, there's rarely a one size fits all solution for this kind of stuff. I had a friend and user of SavvyCal reach out and send a little Loom video hey, and part of his video was super good insights. But then one of the notes he brought up was I stumbled upon this feature and it would be cool if you called it out somewhere because I would have totally used it sooner. And right there at the bottom of the screen of the Loom video was a little helper text saying, highlight, arrange to do this and that. So I was cracking up. It's not his fault because just as a user, he didn't notice that. And so that's my bad. I feel I actually even want to remove that text because I had before it was slightly more prominent and I got some complaints that this is annoying. It's in my face all the time. The naive approach is just to make everything present on the screen all the time so that everyone always sees it. But really that's the kind of thing where once you learn it, you don't need to see something prominent about it. Once you know it. So then it's about getting the knowledge into someone's head at the right time. And then you don't continue to put it in front of them. Now they just know how to use that part of the tool,
Yeah. Yeah, we are adding something like that. So we have these keyboard modes where you can have remote control keyboard turned on or turned off, and it defaults to off. And then some people will be how do I type on the remote machine? Because they just sort of miss the toolbar that has this in it. And so now we're adding hey, we've noticed that the tuple is focused and you're typing, but you have the keyboard off. And so the first time or two you do it, we give you a little pop-up, which your keyboard is disabled. Here's where you enable it. And then after that, we won't pop it up again, assuming you kind of know that this is the way. But I think we are going to do kind of that system beep, just a tunk, no kind of feel. So we're trying to first educate kind of a lot, and then just kind of give these slider corrections because you probably just kind of made a mistake as opposed to don't know how it works anymore. Interface blindness is real. When I was doing briefs with Chris, that little app we did, we onboarded manually the first 50 customers. And so I'd have them share their screen and then watch them sign up. And that's when I learned people will not read anything you put on there. They will maybe look at the H1, they'll skim it, and they will often kind of glance at the text on a button before they click it. Everything else gets ignored.
Yep. When I was doing demos, people dart around a lot and they click on things faster than you want them to. So I'm like, okay, now we're here and you're going to want to click this. And they're like already their mouse is on the other side and they're already clicking a menu item. Oh, what's this? Oh, what's this? And that's just naturally what happens, I think. Yeah. It's so funny.
Yeah, I think sometimes like we'll be talking about a possible thing and it's like, oh, well, like here's this possibly confusing situation. Oh, we could pop up a warning that says that. And I'm like, in my head, I think they will close that warning as fast as they can. It's just like, this annoying thing is in my way. How do I close this as quickly as possible?
Yep.
People don't want to read your copy. They don't want to read your, like they want to kind of guess and go by feel. And you just kind of have to accept that and design for it.
Yeah. I always kind of marvel at apps that have a high degree of like feature density in them. I was like editing some screenshots of the app and trying to stylize them in a way for the marketing site so they didn't just look like screenshots of the app. And so I was like, I haven't used Photoshop in a really long time, and I have Pixelmator now on my computer, which is a really nice, elegant Mac OS-esque, stripped down version of Photoshop, basically. But like, even for as well designed as that app is, like I was just so frustrated because I'm just clicking around different menus trying to find stuff, and there's like the app is not helping me at all in like trying to find stuff. It's just like there's icons everywhere, there's very little text, and then sometimes you double click the menu and then it'll like show you the text next to the icon, and like I just couldn't reason about anything. And I'm like, I know this is a really well designed app. It wins all kinds of awards. People love it, but I just don't want to go read the manual. I just want to be able to get in there and kind of figure out how to do stuff. Yeah, it's like no small task for them to try to figure out how to like make their product intuitive when there's just so many little dials and buttons and stuff.
Yeah. I think it matters what kind of app you're building. Like Tuple is definitely intended as a pro kind of app. I want it to be discoverable. I would love to not get emails asking us for features that we have.
Right.
But at the same time,
that'd be great.
I want to optimize for the giant cohort of users that have been using it for a long time and want it to be, out of the way and powerful and that sort of thing. So it's a balancing act. Striking
the balance somewhere between, a very easy to get started with tool, and then it's like something like Vim, right? Where it's like nearly impossible. It's not intuitive at all, but once you know it, it's really powerful, right?
Yes. Yeah. And Vim has made those. I mean, it's a set of trade-offs, right? Like it's not discoverable or guessable. Yeah, it's not intuitive, but they've made those choices because once you know them, it's so useful. So if it weren't powerful and not discoverable, that would be bad. But so
I guess one way I've seen tools do this, it's become a common pattern now, is like something like what Superhuman did with like their command palette thing, where you could just always like bring up the freeform text thing and then type in whatever feature you think you may want to initiate, and then like it shows it to you in a list and you just press enter. Like that seems like a really elegant way to like offer a ton of power, but then also like freeform search to kind of locate the feature you're looking for. Have you thought about like doing something like that in Tuple?
We have thought of that. I kind of do like that idea. We don't have that many features, so it's kind of, but yes, I do like that for the discoverability. Like in apps that have that, I'm just kind of like, oh, can I? Like I'll just start typing words, and it's like you're kind of like searching the command space by string, and that's actually kind of a nice way to figure stuff out. So we have talked about that. That might be a good thing.
It's like the lazy approach. If you haven't learned all the keyboard shortcuts yet, I use this in Linear. I've been using Linear because you guys were using it for Tuple tasks, and I've been using it for SavvyCal tasks, really liking it. And it has that thing. And like a lot of the shortcuts for doing little things to issues, I just haven't learned yet, just out of laziness. But I just use the command palette, and it's almost as fast.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it's a good option. We should maybe think about that.
Yeah.
The primitives in Tuple are fairly limited, I think. I thought about kind of one of those like percent-based onboarding status indicators, where it's like kind of like you have like an onboarding checklist, and like you're 50% of the way through because you haven't yet added a webcam and you haven't yet like swapped screen share or something. Like there's something about those that I think people find compelling in a way that like those little pop-up based onboarding tutorials are not, where it's like, oh, like I want to finish this thing, get this to 100% and have it go away, is like a little more interesting and kind of satisfying too. As opposed to like, get out of my way, click, go away.
Yeah. Yep.
So also kind of along the lines of user education and whatnot, we are pretty close to spun up on offering people pairing coaching calls. So I think the first invites are going to go out probably tomorrow, which is an interesting experiment. We'll see how it goes.
Who are you inviting? Are you kind of sending out a broad list? Have you curated the list of people that you're sending this to?
The way I'm leaning right now is people that signed up within the last couple of days but haven't done a call yet.
Okay, yeah. That's cool. Yep.
And we'll see if that ends up being the best cohort or the best group, but that feels right for a first pass to me. But more on that soon. I'm also working on a talk. I'm giving a talk about pairing next week. I'm recording it next week, and it's being presented a couple weeks later for Touring Fest. Doing a lot of marketing activities in the last handful of weeks. I realized the other day, my coach sort of pointed this out as well, marketing doesn't really feel like that much work to me. Something about it, like recording this podcast just kind of feels fun. Being a guest on a podcast feels kind of fun. I recorded that pairing video with Farhan from Shopify, and that was just fun. Like all this stuff just like is like a good time to me. I think that means this should be kind of like one of my main activities, is because like it's good for the company. It's not the most common skill set. Like not everyone is just like can do marketing well, and to me it doesn't even register as like work. It's just kind of like, oh no, I wasn't doing any work. I was just being a guest on a podcast and recording Art of Product, and it's like so.
That's fun. I mean, that's kind of how I feel about building product stuff. I mean, it doesn't really feel like work. Like marketing stuff too is fun, but it still doesn't. For me, it doesn't quite trigger the same happiness as cranking out a nice feature. That's probably where my area of focus should be.
Yeah, I would say this is not quite as fun as like development, but like pushing to production is more fun than marketing. But it's sort of got the same. It's got the same gist.
Yeah,
it's close.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna keep doing marketing. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we have a couple good improvements coming out to the app, which I'm excited about. One is some webcam improvements, so we're bumping up the quality a bit. We sort of started with like super high quality webcam, and it was actually eating a lot. It was using quite a bit of bandwidth. We toned it way down. I think we kind of went too far, so now we're kind of coming back up a bit. But we're also adding a little bit of sparkle to it, I think, where we sort of dynamically set the resolution based on what size you have the webcam window. So if it's really small, it doesn't make sense to send you a ton of pixels, so we downgrade it. And if it's really big, we'll send you a bunch. And yeah, we're going to let people opt into kind of using a lot of bandwidth if you want. Like if you're using it as if you're not doing a screen share, you're just doing a video call and you want really crisp, you can get that.
Yeah. Is that something you guys measure? Like what percentage of calls use webcam?
We do have that. I haven't looked at it in a little while.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd be interested to see.
Yeah. I could see it both ways. I guess I don't really have an intuitive sense of what people typically do. I mean, yeah.
It's useful to be able to see your pair's face. Like you can get stuff from body language and posture and that kind of thing. But also like the screen is the star. When I have paired with webcam on, I usually keep it really small, kind of up in the corner, and I'm just kind of using it to lightly keep tabs on the person.
Small cues here and there, but for the most part, focused on the screen.
Yep. And we also have some audio stuff coming down the pipeline. We have this, you may have heard this in various apps, but like you can occasionally get this like chipmunk voice effect in Tuple. It doesn't happen a lot, but it's been a fairly long-standing bug. But we're in there and it's figured out, and we're kind of overhauling the guts of the audio handling code, which were some of the first things we had to write to like get the app working. And so we had like the least amount of information of how this is supposed to work and what the heck is going on. And we're paying down that audio debt as well.
Digging that moat deeper. Because I imagine there's a lot of nuanced little like edge cases and race conditions to handle. Like right before we started this recording, I just like touched my microphone cable and like I could hear a little popping coming from somewhere in the system, and like my laptop was no longer recognizing the microphone, and then I just like tapped it a little bit, heard popping again, and then it was like back onto that audio source. So I can only imagine like what signals are firing in the code, like rapidly switching between sources and yada yada.
Yeah. And different sources have different like rates that they send data at. Like this thing sends at 80 hertz, and this thing is this, and like so there's different like attributes of these sources that you have to handle. Some people have weird setups like audio interfaces. Say like fancy stuff you plug a bunch of mics into, or like preamps or things like this. And there could be a lot of complexity on the other end. And I think also like this is some of the oldest code in Mac OS as well that's still around. So it's like you're kind of interacting with these like really old APIs that are kind of from the Stone Age. And so they have their own kind of weird behavior and quirks.
Lots of operating system legacy that as a in user space you're never really too aware of that. But when you start peeking behind the curtain, building into the native APIs, you start to see all that. I remember that from Windows development back in the day. There's a ton of like DOS stuff still hanging around in like, Windows XP and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is kind of funny. It's like we're like 2.5 years in, and it's like, oh, like what advanced feature are you working on now? It's like, oh, making audio work.
Yeah.
Like reliably. Like, I mean, it worked before, but now it'll work better. It's just like there's a lot of low level stuff and like edge casey things in this kind of application.
Yep.
But that's how it is.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going on with you?
It's been a pretty productive week so far. I shipped a feature that I kind of announced publicly, and it got a lot of positive reception. So I'm really excited about it because it's a relatively small feature, but it is a differentiator. One of the things that has surfaced early on in customer conversations, and it was like on my list of things that a scheduling app should do when I like was doing my own brainstorming, is basically like kind of fine-grained control over limiting how many events of a specific kind you allow within a certain range of time. I think Calendly has like limiting max per day. They just have per day only. But my vision has been like, I think we should give even more flexibility to that. Like per week would be helpful too, per month perhaps, and being able to stack multiples on each other. Like maybe you say like, I want to do up to, 3 per day, but only a max of 5 per week. So like if you end up with 3 on one day, 2 on the next day, then it blocks the rest of the week off. That has been honestly a big want of my own when I've done like, okay, I'm going to solicit a round of customer development calls, and I'm going to send this out. But if I'm not careful, like I will just end up doing nothing but this for the next 2 weeks. Yeah, I tweeted about this, just a little teaser image, and like a bunch of people were very excited. Got responses like, sold. I've been waiting for a compelling enough reason to like switch over, and this is it. And that just makes me so happy.
Yeah,
and
that's great.
Yeah, and it makes me really want to kind of keep pushing harder in the differentiation direction. So I think I'm shifting kind of my roadmap planning just a little bit, because I kind of juggling a few things I consider high priority, like beefing up integrations, getting a Zapier integration first built, adding some more calendar integrations. It's just a steady stream of people wanting additional calendar integrations. And then kind of in this other bucket are just things that really set me apart from kind of the rest, and kind of help that story along a little bit on like, if we're distilling this down into 2 sentences, then I want to be able to mention a couple things that are really compelling that only you can find with SavvyCal. So optimizing for differentiation is kind of, it's moving up in priority in my head and on the roadmap.
I think that's wise.
Yeah.
So is that feature live, that limiting?
I was able to ship yesterday the limiting by day, and then today I'm going to ship limiting by week. So I wanted to get both of them shipped, but then I was like, I finished the day one, and I have to write the logic that does the week, and I might as well just do an incremental deploy here. So by day is live. Yep. And then
nice. That's great.
Soon. Yeah.
How are you checking the availability? Like, what's your calculation for like, show me which days are there? That seems like it could get hairy.
It basically comes down to first using what you configured for your recurring availability. So you can configure, Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 9 to 5. Okay, so we start with that. And then I query for your calendar, whatever calendars you have marked as checking for conflicts, query those in, and kind of add the buffer on either end of those events, and then subtract that. So basically loop over the intervals from your availability, subtract that, and then do like, and now with this additional logic, I will, if you have like max of 3 per day, then I'll loop over the days and check and see if you have, at least 3 events on that day, then block off that entire day. So it's basically like start with the base and then subtract from it, from all these different sources. Yeah.
Oh, and also I wanted to ask you how expansion has been going. Like we just added a user to the Tuple team.
You did, yeah. Thank you for doing that. So far this month, expansion is now outpacing new signups, which admittedly new signups are lower than I want them to be. We need to work on driving more traffic, but yeah, no, it's been going good. I'm very pleased. Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
So you said you're working on Zapier integration, because this is actually something we just bumped into, is like after a coaching call, we would like to like send a survey. I assume this is a kind of that sounds like a Zapier type task.
Probably. I mean, I want that kind of functionality to honestly live in house. Like part of one of the key areas is like kind of more intelligent automations before and after and around events. So I want that to be in house. But yeah, Zapier would be one of those things, like build the Zapier integration first. And if you're seeing a lot of people do an email right after or something, then like use Zapier as a proving ground to figure out what native automations to bake into the app is kind of how I see Zapier. So
gotcha. You would see yourself as like having like a post meeting
Yep.
email sending, not like a have a survey thing, but like just give me an email template or an email like a thing I could fill out.
Right. Yep.
Gotcha. Cool. Nice. Yeah. Well, that's the thing we want.
Okay. Good to know. Customer development live on the air.
Yeah. I was onboarding this person and I was like, oh, we should probably send a survey after. I don't think he has that yet, but I think it's coming. So, we'll figure it out once. Let's just do it manually for now and it'll show up.
Cool. Yep. Totally.
Yeah. So that'll be nice to have.
Yeah. Another front I'm pretty excited about. So I actually haven't confirmed with him that we're cool like naming names publicly yet, but so I'll probably be able to talk about this next week. But I have someone from our community who is going to be starting as my kind of part-time head of marketing beginning of November. So super stoked. He's kind of in this in-between phase himself where has been working for companies, but has some of his own like businesses going, but not quite, fully supporting him yet. So it's kind of like he's entrepreneurial, has experience in this area, someone I've been kind of following for a while and feel like I know pretty well. I just love our little community that hangs out on Twitter and we get to see each other's work all the time. It's so nice.
Nice. So you've been able to kind of like pre-vet this person.
Yep, totally. Yeah. I felt like I already pretty much knew what their chops were before even starting the conversation. So
cool. What kind of time commitment?
So we're looking at, I think it's 10 to 15 hours a week is kind of what we're aiming for right now. And yeah, kind of looking at, I've already started planning out what kind of the initial projects look like. I think, high up on the list is running through some positioning exercises, the standard like April Dunford playbook to make sure that things are good on that front. And then running some little experiments to start vetting kind of repeatable traction channels. And hopefully, his goal is to like do as much of this stuff without involving me as possible. Some things I will, end up collaborating on if it's like making changes to the website or adding pages or designing something. Yeah, for the most part, it's like you got this, do your thing, and then we'll periodically sync up and see what you're learning. And I'm so excited to have this potentially like a big chunk of this off my plate and be able to push this forward.
Totally. That's awesome. I'm psyched for you too. I'm glad to see you making a move like that.
Yeah.
That's quite savvy of you.
Well, thank you. Yes. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like especially like because you are a solo founder and you raised money, it's like there you go. Like that's like the kind of the obvious next step, right?
Yes. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, like if you were 3 or 4 people, it's like, well, that we probably shouldn't hire like outsource marketing. We have the hours for it, but because you have limited time and you're so good and can be focused on the product and dev and design and all that stuff, bringing in someone who's great at the marketing because your time is limited and you have this funding, that feels like very, very reasonable to me.
Yeah. Yep. And I think, all things considered, like it's not even super risky because I do have some funding in the bank. It's funny because I've remarked this before, how risk averse I really am, I think, just naturally as a person. And so this is always like a pushing experience of like, so this will accelerate the burn rate of the company a little bit, but like definitely not like I'm going to, run out of money next month or something. Like I can ride this way for a while and, 6 months from now is maybe like a kind of evaluate, like see where revenue's at, see where cash balance is at, and make a decision on what I need to do at that time. But it's like in the meantime, it's time to start deploying some of this money, I think, and not being too tentative. Like this is what's going to help really accelerate the business is investing in this area. So
cool.
Yeah.
I dig that.
Yeah.
That's great. I find myself wondering if we're maybe too tentative around hiring. Like I feel like our kind of mental model now is kind of around like hire when it hurts, which, is fine. But also it's like, well, we're not thinking like hire when you could productively have another person join the team and have them pay for themselves and things like that. I guess we are doing some of this with this pairing coaching is an example of kind of an opportunistic like hiring in advance of a thing. So I guess we're not doing none of it, given that there is profit margin to be had. Like, is there another person that we could add to the team that would really accelerate it and pay back?
Yeah, because you're in the somewhat unique position. A lot of SaaS companies end up kind of constantly bumping up against the line of profitability. So it's like, we're going to hire this position, but it's going to cause us to go into the negative for a little bit. And so the hiring itself is a little bit painful, but it's solving a pain that's bad enough that it warrants it. And you guys are in a position where it's like, well, fortunately things have been good. You're riding a nice wave. So then it's like, yeah, do you double down and press even deeper, even though it's not necessarily painful, but it's like there's an opportunity to be seized.
Yes. Yeah. It's an interesting question. This feels like one of those, like, not exactly a right or wrong answer, but like kind of what do we want to do? What kind of company do we want to build? What do we value? What do we want? This is a thing my coach kind of keeps like harping on. It's just like, yeah, there's a lot of possible options here, but like you have to know where you want to go. Otherwise you're flailing and you're picking blindly. And like, it's not about making the right decision in isolation. It's about making the right decision, knowing where you want to get to.
Right. Yeah. This is where having kind of a MBA speak, like a North Star to kind of point to compare your high level decision making against is pretty important, I guess.
Or like a vision. Like if everything went great and like everything's perfect, what does Tuple look like in 3 years? Like build towards that, or like having a sense of that helps you know what to build towards. I keep like kind of doing the exercise of sitting down and like answering those questions for myself, but not quite, really taking it all the way and like really thinking about it. And I think that's a useful thing I got to get done.
Yeah. Sounds like a good retreat type activity or something.
Totally. Yeah. I think I need like quiet, like solitude and isolate, and just like a new environment to like really sit down and just like, okay, it's just me in this journal.
Yep. Totally.
Yeah. I was listening to Out of Beta. Matt was interviewing Chris Savage.
I caught that episode. It was very good.
Which is nice. I like that. And I was kind of struck by how much long-term planning they do. They have a multi-year plan that they review quarterly and kind of update and like check how they're doing in progress towards the plan. And and then they seem to be very systematic about, all right, we want to have this much profit. We're going to reinvest this much up to that amount. And I guess this makes sense about how systematic you kind of need to be when you're 130 people. Like I was like, wow, they're like really like hammering, like coming down to these OKRs and like talking quarterly and updating the multi-year plan. And I was like, yeah, I guess that requires more planning with that many people for sure. But also I do think even for us, even for smaller companies, that sort of, are you at least thinking about what 2 years from now could look like and kind of figuring out what you would want to do today to get to there?
Right. Yeah. I think Tuple could easily end up being a 100-person company in, not that long. And
that's ridiculous. That does not feel true to me.
Really?
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, like, I don't think you're wrong. It just doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
It's like, no. That can't be correct.
I remember walking into Lead Pages right after we were acquired, looking around the room and like, what are all of these people doing? Because I mean, it's like Lead Pages is like just a SaaS app, ultimately it's putting data in and taking data out of a database and showing it on the internet. And I'm like, what are all of these people doing? And I mean, everyone was serving a role in some capacity and contributing to the business. But I was just, it did blow my mind at first. And it was like 130 people in the room.
Yeah. That feels crazy.
Yeah.
But you might be right. That's nuts though.
Then again, like, Basecamp is an example of like very profitable, very large top line revenue. And they're like at 50 people now. So you can choose how you want to go about it. But I think it's harder to stay small once things are really growing. It's like easy to find yourself, expanding quickly. So
did we talk about their designer position, their product designer opening that they posted?
I don't think so. No.
So I think this is partly how you stay small. It's like their thing is like, we're looking for a product designer. At Basecamp, a product designer talks to users, designs the features, and then implements them in HTML and CSS working with the developers. In most companies, that's 3 people. In Basecamp, it's 1. I loved that. I was like, I just like wanted to copy and paste that and be like, that's what we want. We want the same thing. And it's like, yes, that kind of person is hard to find. It's not going to be as easy to hire someone like that, but they do exist. And holy crap, if you can get all that in one person, that's amazing. So like, why not optimize for that?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like in our industry, it is pretty common for people to be not hyper specialized, to be somewhat generalists, you know, the full stack whatevers of the world. And that is interesting to think about, like helping someone continue to grow and advance in your company and not be hyper specialized, because it does kind of pigeonhole you a bit if you're just like, this is the only thing I know how to do, and I design, but I don't touch HTML, and I think that's crazy. Yeah,
I think that's going away. I think if you were a designer and you can't write HTML and CSS, you are deprecated.
Yeah.
Like that, just to me, it's like you are missing a fundamental skill. And a skill that's not even that hard. It's not like it's impossible to go from being a designer to someone that could also write HTML and CSS. I mean, front-end development is complex. It's not easy, but it is very feasible. And there's plenty of educational, resources out there. I kind of feel like that is the new table stakes. And I'm shocked when there's designers that are like, I'm a product designer, and my deliverables are sketch files. And it's like, yeah, no. But there are people that can just actually do it too. So like, how are you going to compete with these people in the long term?
Yeah, right. No, there's never been more resources to learn this stuff, and tools like Tailwind that change the game, I think, on being able to rapidly produce things in the final medium. So, yeah.
I think this is a somewhat unpopular opinion. I've floated this to some people before. I also just think that's the future. I would be afraid to be a designer and not be able to implement my own designs. I'd be worried about that. And I'm talking to a designer right now, and he's helping us with some work. And this a high profile, works with big brands, kind of fancy high end designer. And he was like, yeah. And then when I'm done, I'll hand you the sketch files. And I was like, okay. And then I guess I'll go hire a second person to actually do what we need. That's not great, but we'll make it work, I suppose. But it's like, if he was just like, oh yeah, I'm 30% more expensive, but I also just do that part, I'd be like, great. No problem. Don't care. I don't know, man. We need more Derrick Reimers is what I'm saying.
Especially startups, the more of a kind of a generalist you can be, I think it is kind of a key skill. Yeah.
Well, and it's also just you eliminate this handoff. Because once you get to HTML and CSS, the design is going to have to change, right? It's never going to survive contact with the DOM.
Yeah.
So it's
right.
Now you've created this back and forth that has to happen between the person actually implementing and the original designer, and then also don't you want to be able to make your own things? It's I'm an expert at making really nice pictures of things. It's oh well, you could just keep going a little farther and then actually make things. Isn't that cooler? Isn't that more satisfying?
Right. Well, yeah, and then especially for designing for the web, controlling the experience of what does it look like at each of the breakpoints, and when you scale the window down to 432 pixels and everything snaps into position, is this thing now too large? What kind of barriers you need to put on that? And I feel like all of that is really within the purview of the designer, and not just an engineer who doesn't have any design sense whatsoever just making a call on that,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So feel free to at me on this one. I changed my mind. I will fight on this one.
It's good.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else you want to cover?
I think that's good for today.
Cool. All right. Notes of the show.
Notes for the show can be found at artofproductpodcast.com.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.